was thinking a lot about exactly because just because we're in these 3D bodies, I don't know, I had this feeling that, you know, our spiritual bodies were kind of affected by that. I mean, the other areas in which we exist that we don't have exactual awareness of, I think that that can really stress us out, like just not understanding it. For example, even though we have free choice and stuff, our fourth dimensional body, or, you know, what happens to us in the future and the past, that's set in. It's just that we're jumping in and out of realities, and we're in a constant state of flux, and I think that maybe that would be something to focus on for some people, like, because not being aware of what we're doing, I guess in other dimensions, could really drain us of energy and like bring negativity into our lives. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Is the fourth dimension time?
Yeah, it's, well, time, and I don't know, I guess you can't really explain what a dimension is to someone or anyone really that is in the third dimension, because it's not something our minds can actively perceive. We can only try to imagine it. And then, of course, the fifth dimension is variations of the fourth dimension, in which, like, you know, if you made a different decision later on in the day, I don't know, like if you decide to go left or right, the fifth dimension splits off and it takes on the fourth dimension takes off two shapes into that. So, it's just constantly being changed, and we're just jumping in and out of the fifth dimension, and then of course the sixth dimension is all presets of that and all the predetermining factors that cause that.
Okay, so would it be fair to say then that the fifth dimension is the ascension or the new paradigm that we are always talking about moving into? Are the terms synonymous like that?
Well, yeah, because it is our free choice. It is literally, I think that what our consciousness exists onto, it's just that our current perception of reality is limited to the third dimension. And expanding your mind out of that would be one of the most important things that you can do. Not in terms of what's going on in the world, but in terms of what's going on just with existence, with reality itself.
Mm-hmm. I think one thing that comes to mind for me, and tell me if this goes along with it, but it's one thing that has always come up for me thinking about this situation is that in paganism we have a saying, "Thou art God, thou art goddess," and it comes from the idea that since some higher power created us, we have the ability to be just as great, just as powerful, just as godly as that higher power. And then that brings up thoughts in my mind of, well, aren't we pretty much just equal to the gods? Aren't we we may not have ascended to the next level of existence as them, but it's all still on the same reality. Do you think that would have to, that plays into ascension, that's the level that we're trying to ascend to, or do you think that that's something else entirely?
Well, actually, it turns out that we've already ascended. That's already happened to us. It's just we're perceiving everything in a linear fashion. So it's already happened to you at some point. It's just that you're still traveling there. Your current state of consciousness has not reached that point, but you're already there.
Nice, nice. So what would you say about people who have incredibly lower vibrations? Where are they at in that scale? Like the Illuminati puppets and things like that.
Well, they just got less control over their fifth dimensional body. They're not putting more effort into it, and self-control plays a big part in this. It's really simple, but at the same time, you have to take control. You have to like take charge of your life, and it's a mindset. It's the flow. If you're flowing backwards, your electricity's pulling against you. It's going to hold you back. You're going to move slower through everything, and other people who are very aware could manipulate you easily.
Nice, nice. So you mentioned to me the other day though that there are 10 dimensions. What's up with the higher ones? I know you said it's harder to explain them, but what do you think would be the best way to try?
Well, the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th dimensions are I suppose, different versions of reality. Like the seventh dimension has different factors. It could have different basic atomic structures, and the variables of that in which the universe is built upon, like the ways atoms interact with each other. And then on the next level, it's that plus all the variables of physics, like all the laws of physics could be changed. And then on the next dimension above that, it goes into the starting things before the Big Bang. What factors played into that? How did it, like, it could be a different scenario altogether. Like, it could have not started with the Big Bang. It could have started with a flare expansion, or it could have contracted into itself, or we could have just came to be. And then the 10th dimension is all possibilities of all startings with all different laws, rules of physics, with all different atomic structures, all into one thing. And you can't go past that. It doesn't ascend beyond that, because it's the everything with all the possibilities that could have made it.
Nice, I see. I was actually told yesterday about something that I wonder if this plays. I mean, it has to play into it somewhere, I guess. The idea that there used to be a time war going on, and that a lot of different groups of people were fighting over who was first on our planet, on Earth, before, I guess, at the time of its creation or something. And I was wondering if you know anything about that particular train of thought.
Well, it comes from the idea that because the fourth dimension, as I said, it's in a state of flux. It's not just the part that's ahead of us that's in flux. Our past is in flux too. In fact, things that we believe about history could be things that we didn't used to believe 5 years ago. It's just, it was changed, and because it was changed, our memories of everything were changed with it. So, you know, you never know if these things were changed. And these people are using their energies, or even their actions in the past. They plan these things out meticulously to manipulate and change our different versions of the fourth dimension. And so it goes in all directions. Fourth dimension isn't a when, it's a where, because it's, you know, it's a solid body. It's just that we can't imagine it that way.
Nice. Yeah, I love that, man. I love it. Tell me more though. Tell me more about the fifth dimension. And I know you said it's hard, but I'm very curious more to. I know that higher vibrations is a part of it. You know, raising your life's vibrations and trying to elevate. I don't know. That's not the way I wanted to go with that statement. But what are some things, in your opinion, in your research, in your life, that you found help to understand the next level, help get you more ascended, I guess would be an okay term to use, more close, bring you out of third dimensional living and bring you into fifth dimensional living? What are some things for you?
Well, one of the first things that you need to do, because again it will limit you, is you need to pull your mind out of a linear thinking style. And by that I mean the fourth dimension, we see it as time passing, whereas time is, again, in a solid state, and we just manipulate it through the fifth dimension and pull in and out of different ones. So yes, pulling away from the linear thought process of time itself is a good start, because I guess it's a good way to start understanding how time even works, and how our reality is even shaped. And once you get out of that, I guess, mainstream thinking, you would move on to fifth dimensional thinking, which is, you know, yes, our changes affect everything, but it literally, every single possibility and thought change that we can make already has happened. And tapping into that and just letting yourself flow into that, it's just, each of those realities are at a different frequency, and you're just, I don't know, pulling your mind into that frequency, I guess would be a good way to put it. You know, just tapping into tune with the one you want to go into. It's it's simple to say, but it's not easy to understand because, again, like, we're not fifth dimensional beings, we're not fourth dimensional beings, we're
Right.
still very limited. But at some point, most likely after we die, we will ascend and start to begin to understand these things that we just can't understand at the current state of our mind.
Nice. I see. That's really legit. I definitely felt like when I joined the GIC 5 years ago, you know, and I started waking up. I had voted for Obama that year, and then when I started becoming more educated and I started learning more and more, I really felt like that in and of itself was raising my vibrations. Just being more conscious of the world around me, you know, I guess. And I've been pagan for 15 years, and all of a sudden, 10 years in, I'm learning. I get my whole paradigm thrown out. That's what a lot of people say when it comes to shamanic entheogenic rituals. They say that your paradigm gets thrown out, and that's my thought process, I guess, of reality was just chucked out the door. And I was like, oh my God, there's everything's going on behind my back, and I had no idea what was actually going on. And now I guess my vibration levels are a lot higher, and sometimes, you know, they lower, but generally, you know, I'm living in a much higher vibrational state. I don't think I am in fifth dimensional living just yet. In my opinion, I'm not going to be in fifth dimensional living until I am at a point where I can transgress between realities. Is that the right word? I don't know. Yeah, where I can move between realities. I want to be able to hang out in the Summerland with the goddess and god, and I want to be able to come back here and see what's going on, make sure that the Illuminati's not hurting my sisters and my brothers. But I don't even know. That's kind of the way I guess my mind perceives it, even though I think that it's probably different for other people. But I get what you're saying, where you're coming at with the idea that it's really hard for people to perceive it when they're still living in a third dimensional reality. Faith is kind of similar to that, I guess, in my opinion. You know, if you don't know faith, if you don't understand it, then you're just not gonna get it, you know. But yeah, definitely. Tell me more. What else? What else can you tell me about the lower dimensions? The first dimension, second dimension. I guess we wouldn't necessarily be living in the first or second dimension.
Well, we do, but we see beyond that scale. We can still think in the first and second dimension very easily, but it's simple to us. It's like, you know, a piece of paper is very two-dimensional in terms of the way we interpret it. Though there is most likely not entities living in the first and second dimensions alone, imagining being one in that dimension and trying to perceive the third is a good way of understanding kind of how the fourth and fifth look to us. Because if you were a second dimensional being, you would only see, you know, up and down, left and right. You would see a flat image, only you'd be a flat image yourself. And a third dimensional creature would literally, you would see two-dimensional cutout sections of it. So a person would look strange and apple would look strange. You would see the apple would come into existence and it would be a dot, and then you would see the layer get bigger and bigger, kind of like an MRI scan, and then it would just be gone. It would be very confusing. So it's equally as confusing for us to look up into the next dimensions above us. So maybe looking back is a good way to, you know, understand exactly how limited we are.
Definitely. I can relate to that for sure. It's a very interesting concept, you know, when you to think about especially the most intriguing one for me, I guess, would be time, you know, and thinking about when I've been in altered states, when I could perceive time as more of a as I guess linear, like you were saying, is a good term, not so linear, you know. But earlier this morning with James, I was talking about how much I love Star Trek, you know, and they talk. There's an alien race that doesn't live within linear time. They see their future and their past is present. Everything is now, and they can. It's not that they see into the future or see into the past. It's that they're living everything at a current point. And when it was put to me like that on a TV show, I was like, wow, that kind of resonates with me a lot. You know, it kind of makes me feel like that's not necessarily there's people like that potentially, but it's not where you and I are living right now. We might not even be headed that direction, but that's kind of how time is. It's just there, you know. You're not going forward in time, you're not going backward in time. Time is just, you know, it's there. I guess.
Well, yeah, exactly. In fact, that's exactly what we're doing. Is we're living every moment all at the same time. It's just we have a very limited control of what area we're living. We live linearly. We can't control that. Our physical body lives linearly, but we can experience, I guess, what's happening. Some people tap into that and they're able to predict things. I guess we have a sort of what do you want to call it? Intuition about things, and I think the more in touch with that you are, the more you can see forward and backwards without memory, because some people who've lost their memory have gotten it back by tapping into these energies. It's actually an alternative therapy that's used to treat Alzheimer's, and memory loss, and amnesia.
Nice. Yeah. And it is like, I guess, people who can see, who you just said it, I forget the term you used, but people who can, for lack of a better term, see into the future. I guess you know, that's why the future is always changing. You know, they don't know if they're getting something that's right, because I mean, while we are living it, maybe that's why they can see it, because we're already living it. And but then maybe too, they aren't going to know exactly what's going to happen because they're seeing one picture that's been painted, I guess.
Derwin, can I jump in for just a moment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please. I am very, very curious. By the way, this is Bernard Alvarez speaking. I'm not showing my face. But I do want to ask Isaac. Isaac, when did you finally realize everything that you are speaking of now? Was there a certain age? Was there a certain experience? What gave you the clarity that you have? Because you obviously have clarity above and beyond most people on this planet. What was the moment that you knew that you had this clarity and were willing to share it so publicly?
Well, when I was younger, much younger, like about the age of 10, 11, I was taking reality apart in my head. I didn't really talk to kids. I didn't like school because I was abused by teachers and stuff, but I passed school without even going to school because I knew what they were teaching me already. So I just kind of, I don't know, I tried to understand reality as much as I could, and as I got older, about 15, 16, I started really learning how to put it into words. And I started and then I had access to the internet, and I was researching all kinds of different fields of science, physics, quantum mechanics, and then I started reading into like alternative medicines and alternative lifestyles, and eventually I just really learned how to put my thoughts into words, and I found people that wanted to listen, and that's one of the big things that happened to me when I got to the GIC was I found a place where I can actually actively speak, and people that want to hear it